A wave of reports have dropped over the past day that indicate the Toronto Raptors are actually in the Damian Lillard sweepstakes, or at least are trying their hand in hopes of landing Damian Lillard. So we'll break down all the reports, the possibility of Dame actually coming to Toronto, and if Dame doesn't come, what could the Toronto Raptors possibly get on the side? So lots of stuff to break down. Before we jump into any of that, we have a very exciting announcement. This video is brought to you by Rentals.ca. And Rentals.ca is Canada's largest apartment hunting network. You can rent houses, condos, apartments, whatever it is, you can rent on rentals.ca, and they're available all across the country. Coast to coast, Toronto, Calgary, Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Halifax, wherever it is, rentals.ca has you covered. You can check out their website. It's clean, it's easy to use, and they're also giving back to you folks as they're doing a massive giveaway right now. If you check out the pinned comment of this video or in the description, you have a chance to win a month's free rent. That's right, you could win up to $2,500, and rentals.ca will pay a month's free rent to a lucky winner. So easy to sign up. Just check the link down in the bio or in the pinned comment. Helps out the channel a bunch and gives you guys a chance to win big. So shout out to rentals.ca for supporting the channel and supporting you guys with this wild giveaway. So let's dive, wild giveaways from rentals. We also have some wild news surrounding the Toronto Raptors. As I discussed in the intro, it seems like the Toronto Raptors might actually be in the Damian Lillard sweepstakes. And this is sort of insane to see given all the news and all the stuff that's come out this summer, as basically news has been trickling over the past 24 hours, which we'll dive into here now. Is basically Mark J. Spears came out and basically said that a mystery Eastern Conference team has held trade talks centered around Damian Lillard. I'm kind of hearing rumors about another Eastern Conference team. I'm not going to throw it out there just yet. So this sparked some interest. This had a bunch of teams, bunch of fans of Eastern Conference NBA teams looking at, hey, could it be my team that's interested in trading for Damian Lillard? Definitely happened with some Toronto Raptors fans, especially where we've been loosely linked. There hasn't been anything hard, anything super firm come out regarding Toronto Raptors actively going after Damian Lillard. There's been lots of smoke around Tyler Hero, the Raptors potentially getting involved in a Dame trade, but nothing that solid around a Damian Lillard sort of going up north, going to the Toronto Raptors. Well, basically, this is pretty substantial. It came out, but we've got multiple indications that this team is the Toronto Raptors. As Matt Moore of HP Basketball basically came out on his podcast and said that multiple teams in the East have called about Damian Lillard, and the Raptors being one of them. And that's the thing nobody's really saying, but everyone around the league knows that the Raptors were amongst the teams that were interested in Damian Lillard. So that's very interesting to see. Interested makes sense. Trade talks, all this stuff that's coming out there now. We know Masai Ujiri's a big swing player, likes to swing for the fences, try to get those home run hits. I mean, it won us an NBA championship before, and, Raptors getting named there by Matt Moore, and they're also getting named by the popular Twitter account, the real Twitter account. I made a video earlier this summer, Dropping Dimes 40 ended up, it was a fake, not the real Dropping Dimes. Apparently Dropping Dimes, for people that don't know, is a Twitter account that has been breaking some news. A lot of it hasn't been 100% correct, but it's probably got about a 60-70% hit rate in terms of reports that have dropped. So I'll briefly throw it in here now. Basically, is the Dropping Dimes account came out and said that it's Ayton for Nurk. The mystery team for Damian Lillard is Toronto, but Dame is locked in with Miami. So basically, the Raptors are trying to make talks. Apparently, according to this Dropping Dimes account, they're the mystery team. It's not a completely blasphemous rumor. The Raptors apparently are this squad, but Dame is still intent on going to the Miami Heat, which makes sense. Now, I'm not going to put too much weight into the Dropping Dimes account. He basically said that the Siakam to Atlanta deal was a done deal. Did come out a couple weeks later and say, nah, talks fizzled out. But basically, more and more smoke, more and more rumors, more and more reports coming out linking the Toronto Raptors to Damian Lillard. And this would be a wild sort of piece for the Toronto Raptors to land. Again, you look at the Damian Lillard stats for last season, 32 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 37% from the field, 46% from the field, 37% from behind the three-point line. Puts up some monster stats at the guard position, is a bucket, is one of the most underrated players in my opinion in NBA history. It's just an absolute instant offense player. You can run an offense. There's no one really matched when you consider the type of rosters Damian Lillard's had around himself in the past really decade, it feels like. It's kind of insane that he's taken that Portland Trailblazers team to the levels that they've been at. And obviously, people have been watching the channel over the course of the summer know I'm a Damian Lillard fan, and I know you guys go back and forth, but there are issues with Damian Lillard. The fact that firstly, he wants to go to the Miami Heat. So if the Raptors are interested in making a trade with the Portland Trailblazers, then there's a risk you're taking. Now, we took that risk with Kawhi. We won an NBA championship. So a lot of Raptors fans are probably feeling like, hey, we took it before, it worked out really well, may as well do it again. But we did see Shams drop a report the other day, and I reacted to this in a previous video about the latest in the Damian Lillard saga, saying that he'd only report to the Blazers and Miami Heat if he was traded. That's what Shams came out and said, and directly name-dropped the Toronto Raptors, so that's another bit of smoke regarding potential rumors, as Shams basically said at this point, the only two training camps that Damian Lillard would report to, in theory, are the Portland Trailblazers and Miami Heat. If a team like Toronto, for instance, were to trade for Damian Lillard, I do not believe Lillard would even report. So that's a risk. Again, if we're going to trade for Damian Lillard, you have to take on that baggage. Shams directly name-dropped the Toronto Raptors as a potential team that could trade for him, or didn't say that overtly, but in a hypothetical world, if the Raptors were to trade for him, he wouldn't report to that squad. So that's an interesting thing for Shams to throw out there. I made a whole video on that if you want to watch that back from a few days ago, but there's that risk. But the other risk, which I see a lot more Raptors fans, I think holds a lot more weight, because I think Damian Lillard's going to report to whatever team he's traded to. I don't see him pulling a Ben Simmons and getting messy with trade requests and all that type of stuff. But the biggest thing is Damian Lillard's age. I mean, he's a player that's going to be paid close to $60 million at the end of his contract. He's already 33. I mean, it's a guy, he's still in the prime of his career. I mean, we showed his stats, and he is putting up remarkable numbers, even in this last season, despite the fact Portland wasn't that great. Dame is an absolute beast. He still is an absolute beast, but he's under contract for a long time, which is, in theory, a good thing, because you want to keep a superstar around your team for a longer period of time, but I guess superstars could request a trade whenever they want, but he is a player that you acquire him, it's not like you're getting him for nothing. I mean, if we pick up Damian Lillard, even with that contract, and we didn't have to give away any pieces, sure, that's no big deal. But the fact is, we would have to trade the farm in order to acquire Damian Lillard, and a lot of people have thrown out the idea of trading Scotty Barnes, who didn't have the greatest season last year, didn't take a massive leap, 15 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, still a really good year. 3-point percentage is down, all that type of stuff. A solid defender. Scotty Barnes didn't take the leap a lot of people were hoping from his rookie season, but still is a really promising young talent. Trading him away in a Damian Lillard package would not be good. And the fact we'd also have to tie other assets along with it just isn't that intriguing for me as a Toronto Raptors fan. I mean, I've pulled this trade proposal, like hypothetical, from Reddit, basically saying the Raptors get Dame, and we're sending out Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter Jr., and Thaddeus Young in order to make the money work. It also has that little DeAndre Ayton for Yusuf Nurkic switch that we saw the Drop and Dimes account sort of mention. So, again, if Scotty Barnes is getting dealt, one, you're giving up an insane asset that I personally wouldn't feel that comfortable giving away, given the fact Damian Lillard's age, the question marks about him being frustrated and all that type of stuff, but you also have to match salary, and the Raptors will be in completely win-now mode if we acquire Damian Lillard, and whatever you think of Thaddeus Young, whatever you think of Otto Porter Jr., given the fact he was injured last season, even Chris Boucher, that's 3 veterans you have to deal away just in salary filler. In the Raptors bench that looks like it'll be deeper going into the season, but again, we say that pretty well every summer going into the year. I'm not buying into the hype as much as I did at least last season, right? They have to show me a little bit more before I start buying all the hype going into the season. But giving up those 3 vets on a team that's supposed to be a win-now squad is an insane risk. On top of dealing away your young, promising, up-and-coming star, and then on top of it, Gary Trent Jr. is a player that you'd have to deal in this hypothetical package. I mean, it doesn't really make me feel like, again, the roster of the starting unit of Damian Lillard, Dennis Schroeder, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, I salivate at that. I look at that and I say, okay, let's go. That is a really strong roster there. And off the bench, there's some guys as well. I mean, we have Grady Dick, who we just drafted. Precious Achiuwa still on the roster, right? McDaniels, who we picked up this summer, right? There's some pieces, right? We have the ability to trade away some of our bench pieces and all that type of stuff. But is it a championship winning team? we'd probably have to make a few more shakeups, a few more adjustments, or Precious would have to take a leap or something along those lines. Grady Dick would have to be a lot exceed expectations as a rookie that's coming in as sort of a late lottery pick, right? That in order for us to be in that championship contention, I mean, that starting lineup is elite. It is nasty. It is ferocious. But outside of that, we're still very thin. We need some young players. So given the fact we're not a surefire top seed in the Eastern Conference after that trade, I mean, it could definitely happen. If it happened, I'll buy into the hype. I'll trust Masai Ujiri, all that type of stuff. But it's not a surefire thing as a Kawhi Leonard acquisition was for the Toronto Raptors. Even though a lot of people didn't think it was a guaranteed chip or anything along those lines, the Raptors were a number one seed without Kawhi Leonard, and then we traded away DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl, who was still a rookie, had an impact on that squad definitely, but wasn't as integral as he necessarily would have been at least right now. But we replaced him with Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, two starting caliber championship players. So that's like a moment in time where you take that risk. Right now, when we didn't even make the playoffs last season, we lost one of our leading scorers in free agency this year. Maybe not the time to potentially do that deal, but I don't know. If we acquire Damian Lillard, he's under contract for a few years. Maybe it allows Masai Ujiri to sort of retool over the next season or so, to build a championship squad. So I could buy that there. I could buy that future. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Damian Lillard as your core three is a really good core three, but it is for the next couple of seasons. So the Raptors would have to make a move. They'd have to figure something out. But let me know what you guys think about the Raptors potentially trading for Damian Lillard in the comment section below. You guys are the best for making it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And again, that contest, win some free rent. Let's make it happen. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.